And this wasn't quirky, but it answered a lot of questions.
Yeah. It kind of tied everything together.
It did. It was a real, it showed insight. Anyway,
we can't say any more on that.
No, we can't, obviously, for obvious reasons.
I mean, for me, Nathaniel, this movie proved once and for all that human beings are filthy, diseased scum.
I find myself agreeing with you, Richard. I cannot disagree with that.
I haven't touched my face since the credits rolled.
Certainly creates something of the paranoia, doesn't it?
They made a big point out of that, didn't they?
They certainly did. Powerful one.
And when I was in the theatre that I was watching this in, there seemed almost a palpable sense of fear building up.
Really?
I don't know, maybe it was in my mind, maybe I was reading too much into it. But as the movie started, there were 3 or 4 couples nearby that were kind of muttering and talking, and, they weren't being overly annoying, but they clearly weren't quite into it just yet.
Right.
Within 10 minutes, they were in stony, I can only imagine, fear-induced silence, totally gripped by the events that were occurring on screen.
Sounds right.
Yeah, well, that said something about the power of the movie.
It does.
Now, you talked about Kate Winslet and how beautiful she looks.
Yes.
And I do agree with that. She looks a bit kind of tomboyish, I thought, but
that's why she appealed.
That's what. Well, I thought that. What with your deviant proclivities,
I like a bit of the androgynous, Richard.
You do, don't you?
Do.
Have you ever masturbated to Marilyn Manson?
Not yet, but I think I might.
Yeah, check it out. You'll like it.
I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, have a look at that. Now, you mentioned Gwyneth Paltrow as well.
Yes.
Now, this is where she was disease-ridden. Ironically, I thought she'd never looked more beautiful.
Well, especially when she spouted that white stuff from her mouth.
Exactly, when she started foaming at the mouth.
Well, I
didn't
just foam much of that, is I?
She's a pointy-faced, acid-tongued, vile entity, isn't she, at the best of times?
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. I think she's something of the English rose.
Yeah.
I really do. She's blonde, she's fresh-faced, something of the innocent about her. I like her, Richard, yes.
Oh, I can't
bear
to look at her. I can't bear to look at her. I was glad when she became infected.
She might be more masturbation material, actually.
Not for me, she won't be. Not for me. But getting back to the main topic of the movie, we need a disease, Nathaniel. We need a disease to eradicate the scum.
It would certainly be a surefire way of sorting things out, wouldn't it?
If only it could be targeted at sections of the population, I'd have absolutely no objection.
Well, I'd have every objection to that. If a disease was to start to inhibit the planet, I'd accept it. I wouldn't support it. But, I like to think it'd be a very random nature of it. It wouldn't be just targeting the Chinese or just targeting the Africans. It would target everyone, as this movie did.
Sickle cell, Nathaniel, was our last best hope. So that's let us down, hasn't it?
Sickle, was that thing that was alluded to in the 1900s? Or?
Well, sickle cell is a disease that only affects people of African origin.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow, there we go.
But that's let us down.
Did you catch that one moment in the movie where it was a staggering statistic? There was some kind of alluding to the fact that something similar had happened previously in the 1900s or 1910s, where 1% of the population had been killed by some kind of...
This was the Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, you got it, absolutely.
That was the Spanish flu. Yeah, that's reasonably well known, that is. When the bird flu struck, kind of at the end of the 90s, early 2000s,
yeah,
comparisons were drawn with the Spanish flu, which I think was in the 30s. Don't quote me,
right,
but I think it was in the 30s. Which, yeah, it did wipe out swathes of people in Europe in particular.
1% of the population. Maybe they were exaggerating for the film, but if that statistic is correct, that's incredible.
I don't think they were exaggerating for the film, because I think every scientific thing that was mentioned was fact. I think that was kind
exacting, wasn't it? It was very accurate.
So I don't think it was exaggerated.
Right.
And of course that's one of the aims of the movie is to invoke fear, not through fantastical monsters or anything like that, simply through science.
Absolutely, which makes it all more powerful.
And I think that's why people were scared. I thought it was good that bloggers were in the spotlight at last.
Right.
They're a factual blight, Nathaniel, and they need to be eradicated. Those sites should be shut down.
You don't think they have valid viewpoints from time to time?
No, rarely.
Really?
You've got a Facebook page, haven't you, Nathaniel?
I have indeed.
You're a vain man.
Well, you should try it before you judge it.
I will go to my grave without ever having set eyes on Facebook.
Well, that's something of a shame, because there are lots of people out there that do want to give you abuse, Richard, and it's nice to think they'd have the facility to do that.
I don't avoid it through fear, which is what you seem to be suggesting there.
Not at all.
I avoid it because,
I just like
as you know,
people abusing you, Richard.
But as you know, I don't like change.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
I'm happy with the printed press. I don't want it all to go electronic.
Fair enough.
When the epidemic comes, Nathaniel, poor people must not be allowed access to medicine.
Well, I think, again, it's fanciful thoughts that you've got there, Richard.
I recommend a registration system be initiated.
Yeah.
A whitelist.
A whitelist?
A whitelist that dictates who is first in line for the immunisation.
Right.
Well, the wealthy, the intelligent, people of a high social status.
Well, I'll be going for the date lottery. I thought that was fantastic part of the film, actually. Quite a good way to do things.
What, dishing out the medicine based on date of birth?
Absolutely, yeah. Just completely random, just absolutely luck of the draw.
Do you think that would work?
No, I don't.
No, I didn't either. I thought it was a load of nonsense.
Fantastic idea.
We go on wealth, we go on intelligence, we go on social status. If you've never eaten at the Ivy, you get to the back of the line.
Right, so let's say you've got some, great ideas for the world, Richard, but thankfully they'll not be put into place.
Nathaniel, don't get so bloody mealy-mouthed and bloody liberal on me.
I'm not getting liberal on you, actually. I'm being very real. You're talking about things that are never going to be implemented.
I'd infect you, Nathaniel, if I thought I could get away with it.
I'd love the chance to infect you, actually.
I'd infect you with the most vicious, most virulent disease I could find. Fact is, you've probably already got the infection, haven't you?
Well, given that.
What were the things that you've been up to?
Well, I'm healthy enough. I always take protection, Richard.
It's got a long incubation period, that one. Come and talk to me in 10 years, if you're still here.
I'll give you something long, Richard.
If you're still here.
I'd inject you with some of my gay cum.
What would you give this, Nathaniel?
Not much to criticise here, Richard. Really enjoyed this. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? 8 out of 10 too.
Time to dive back into the archives, folks, and this week we're going back to 1986 to chew the fat over the much-lauded sequel to 1977's Alien, the imaginatively titled Aliens. The plot. Ellen Ripley is found on an escape vessel drifting through space. She has been in a state of hypersleep for 57 years. An investigation has taken place regarding her conduct on the original mission, particular attention given to her reasons to self-detonate the Nostromo ship, which had not been received too well by the authorities. She is suspended from all duties, and it has been deemed necessary for her to take monthly psychiatric evaluation. It turns out that the planet LV-426 is in the process of being colonised, but when a family goes out for a scout around and the father comes back with one of the face-hugging aliens attached to his face, the Space Marines are sent in with all their high-tech weaponry to address the situation and to rid the planet of this life form once and for all, or so they thought. What did you think, Richard?
Well, you know what I thought, Nathaniel, because we watched this together.
We did.
I don't know why you're trying to hide that.
I'm not trying to hide it.
You seem like you didn't mention it.
I'm asking what you thought.
Are you ashamed of me?
I'm not ashamed of you at all. Well, not in this instance.
No. I thought, Nathaniel, my first thought, this was more American soldiers making complete arses of themselves.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
They were utterly incompetent, utterly without any kind of discipline or worth. They were shameful.
Yes, I'm with you all the way so far.
They didn't know how to handle a weapon correctly. Did you see the way they were holding those guns?
Oh, tell me. They had no training, had they?
They clearly had very, very limited military training, those actors. It burst me right out of the bubble of the film.
Right.
Nathaniel, this is about childbirth.
Childbirth?
The body horror of childbirth.
Really?
Surely even you weren't stupid enough not to notice that.
Clearly I was, I'm all ears.
You get impregnated by a seed. In a vile organ is thrust into one of your bodily orifices and impregnates a seed, and shortly afterwards, or sometime afterwards, something monstrous bursts from within you.
Well, I must admit that's matter for my brain to think about.
Mm.
That's an interesting viewpoint you've got there.
The acting was poor throughout.
Was there any acting?
Oh, well, you're kind of giving away your hand here, to be honest. But I hope you don't play poker like this.
Sorry.
Especially Hudson, the character of Hudson. Bill Paxton plays Hudson. His whining tone drove me to distraction. Do you know the one I'm on about?
I think I do.
Game over, man! Game over!
Oh,
They're coming out the fucking walls!
Sorry, Richard. I mean, there were so many idiots in this film. It's hard to distinguish one from the other, but now you've said that, completely clear.
Oh.
Oh, he had a learning disability, didn't he?
Oh, he was some kind of spastic, wasn't he?
I think he
really was.
I think he was put in the movie for being politically correct.
Oh.
We've got to represent him.
The only reason they didn't put him in a wheelchair was because of the landscape that they had to navigate over.
Right.
There was some lesbian fetishism here as well, Nathaniel. I didn't approve of that.
Was there?
The Vasquez character.
Oh, yes.
All muscle.
Right.
With the not balaclava, the bandana.
Bandana, yeah.
Around her, kind of pulling us, doing chin-ups. Like she had a cock.
Oh, well. If I'd have seen something dangling from her nether regions, I wouldn't have been surprised.
It wouldn't have surprised me. I imagine her labia's 5 inches long.
Bigger than most cocks, yes.
It's absolutely putrid to look at.
It was.
Even Sigourney Weaver looked like a man.
Well, she has got a touch of masculine about her, Richard, hasn't she?
Not a very good-looking man, let me tell you that.
No. No, that's true. But very attractive nonetheless, huh?
No, I didn't think so.
You didn't think so?
I didn't find her attractive at all.
I think you're doing some fantastic acting of your own here, Richard.
What?
You can't tell me that you genuinely didn't find Sigourney Weaver attractive.
She looked like a bloke.
And?
Well, that's it.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
That's it. Unlike you, I don't look at men in that way. I've had the odd blip over the couple of months we've been doing this, I admit.
Yes.
But as a rule, I don't look at men and find them attractive. Sigourney Weaver looked like an ugly bloke down the pub who'd be more suited swigging a pint of lager and playing bloody darts than fighting aliens.
Well, she, as I say, she does have a touch of masculine about her, Richard, but I didn't think she looked very masculine when she was scantily clad later on in the film. Not many scrotums to be seen in that scene.
I don't want to see Eric Bristow naked. And similarly, I don't want to see Sigourney Weaver naked.
Well, there's a lot of people who